Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I want to say that I feel really humbled by the lineup. I took a look at it the other day, and I must say that there are a lot of specialists. So I hope that my presentation here will give you some insights. I would actually like to understand how many specialists and how many business people are actually in the audience and looking right now. But as this is the first time that I'm presenting in this online way, I can't really see that. But I hope that you will get some value out of this. And if there are any questions, I'm sure that there's some way for you to ask them. So the presentation title that I decided together with some of my colleagues to present here was how we mix agile and waterfall to enable growth, to enable strategic growth. And obviously, it's about how we master agile and waterfall and how we deliver our strategic projects in an ambitious organization. That's kind of where I come from. However, looking at it, I think that the real name would probably how to start working agile in a waterfall organization. It's probably more realistic, and for some organizations, it's probably also the ideal way to implement agile. It's about using a hybrid methodology, taking what you can from agile and also allowing parts of the waterfall project principles to exist while you implement agile methods. My own expectation and my own experience is that probably for many large organizations and corporations, moving into a full agile methodology is probably not the right way. But let me get into this later in the presentation. So first of all, just a few words on who I am and why I was invited to spend some time here. Who is this Danish guy, and why would he have any valuable input to bring to the table? I don't know if I have a lot of specialist input that you can take on and use, but I've been in the IT business for probably 27 years by now, and I've had many different roles in 7 different companies. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of companies evolving and taking on new processes, such as the agile methods. Right now, I will be focusing on sharing my experience and my opinions. And I am representing ROCKWOOL, a company that I've been here for 10.5 months. But that also means that I've only been here for 10.5 months. So I don't know everything in depth. So what I will be sharing is also a lot about the experience that I've gained over the last 5-7 years. Yeah. So continuing, just a few slides about where I am. ROCKWOOL, if you don't know us, we've been melting stone for 85 years. Basically what we do is we melt lava and stone and create thin threads in the spinner, like if you create a cotton candy, and from that we create stone wool, which is used in a bunch of different products, but it's ideally and mostly known for its insulation capabilities. And a slide about us, not so interesting as such, but what I wanted to say in this context is that we have a huge office here in Poznan, and that's obviously why I'm also part of this conference. And Poland is definitely one of our key hubs for IT with so many skilled people here. But going on, I want to touch upon what I see as the top 3 challenges with Agile in the corporate world. The first one, trust. a major issue as everything we do as an IT organization together with our business is built on trust. All our projects are driven either by our operating companies around the world, where the producer Stonewall, or they're driven by our group functions. Any IT or any big organization has experienced failed IT project, failed attempts to deliver, and delays in plans, budgets gone wild, timelines gone wild, and scopes also gone wild. And Agile requires a different cooperation from and between the business and IT, and achieving the trust from the business can be a huge hurdle, and it's something that needs to be addressed constantly when trying to implement Agile processes. So my experience tells me, and I also seen that this is what we have done in ROCKWOOL, is that implement Agile methods step by step. Prove your capabilities and prove that you can actually generate more value using these methodologies. If you don't, it's just another IT blob, another IT word in a business that is not really accepted. The next one is quite important as well. In any large organization, finance, approvals, how we do taxes, what mandates and so on, is key to how we drive the business. Many of our approval models are based on how we do our finances, our mandates, and basically how we think business, built on understanding a need and a problem. And that also means that our business in general often is built on understanding and knowing what it is that we're delivering and how we're delivering it before we approve. So this is a fundamental change that many big organizations need to face and will need to discuss. And if you have a company like ROCKWOOL, it's a 85-year-old production company that basically has had a positive financial status right from day one. When we talk about Agile, it's also about challenging existing modes of driving decisions and driving business. So definitely one of the top 3 challenges that any organization will face when they're trying to implement Agile. The third one here is probably my favorite one. Agile is about, like any other IT activity, is about the people. It's about understanding the culture of the business. It's about understanding the legacy that drives this business. It's about understanding if there are ways of working that may affect how people think and how they work. ROCKWOOL is a family-owned business, basically. Of course, it's on the stock, but driven and primarily owned by the same family throughout its history. And even though that ROCKWOOL is quite innovative and quite ambitious, it's still people that drive the business, and it's still people that need to understand and need to be convinced in many cases that changing how we actually deliver is a good thing. You can come with a lot of process descriptions, and you can introduce frameworks and so on, but in the end, if the people that make decisions, and also the people that will work with these methods, if they don't understand and accept the changes, then you'll have a very, very hard time. Also, when it comes to people, and one of the big changes that, of course, is implemented in any introduction of Agile is also how we work with the IT, how we work with documentation, how we work with approving our own processes. So it's not just about how we work with the business and their new roles and so on, but it's about understanding that the way we will be developing and progressing in projects is different. So what I'm basically coming to here is there are a lot of challenges and you need to understand them, but also understanding them is actually part of the solution. So we don't always need to know how to solve problems, but and that is very, very true with Agile. We don't need to understand all the problems, or we don't need to know how to solve all the problems, but we need to understand that they're there and understand how this change, if you're new to Agile or if you're in the middle of it, the changes that you bring, what they entail. So understand the problems and start working with them. But the thing is, Agile may not be for all. I don't think it's for all. Does everyone really need a huge framework or a small framework, or at least some kind of framework to be pushed down on how we work? I don't think so, and probably a lot of other people also don't think so. My experience is that you need to pick and choose, start slowly, and not until you understand that it's not about a framework, it's about how we work, you can move on. Does it work? I think it does. I'm quite sure it does. Most of the, no, let me correct that. All organizations that I've been in have introduced and implemented parts of Agile. None of the companies I've been in have introduced the full spectrum of an Agile framework. And basically because it's probably not needed. And can you get value out of it then? Yes, you can. It's about identifying the different tools, the different processes, the different ways of working in Agile and slowly implementing them. It's about identifying who of your customers, and in many huge organizations, it's of course internal customers. Who of these customers are actually ready to work with you? Because some are, some aren't. In our case, and I think that's also the case in many other companies, people in sales and marketing, they're always out there. They are very ambitious. They want to achieve more. Of course, they are in sales and so on, and they're often the ones, the departments that you should start with, because they are actually, in many cases, interested in taking on new tools and new ways of working in order to get things delivered faster. And we may be a production company that basically melts rocks and lava, but in the end, we're driven by IT. We're driven by IT in our production, we're driven by IT in our operation, and we're driven by IT in our in our supporting organizations, such as sales and marketing. And they have, in ROCKWOOL, they have really taken on the Agile way of working. They accept the mutual responsibilities in this kind of working. They accept and really appreciate the division of task, and also the gradual and investigative approach to reaching objectives. For many of these people, it's okay that we don't know the end goal when we're starting. As long as we know where it is we want to go. And for that, we also have a number of Agile teams established here in our Poznan office that work with sales and marketing. We're not perfectly there yet in a through Agile way of working with everything, but we're getting there. And in our Agile teams here in Poznan, we're learning, and we're constantly also trying to support, however we can, these teams in working with the business teams, sales and marketing, and so on. You could have other departments, legal, finance, or some others are probably more hesitant due to the nature of their work, and that's okay. You don't want to force anyone into working agile. So for these departments, it's often accepting that they are more into the waterfall way of thinking. They want to know, they want to approve in advance before they say go. They want to know, what does it cost, when are we ready, what is it exactly that we're getting, and that's okay. And this is where hybrid comes into play. If you have a good cooperation with your business, then you're also able to work agile with some departments and in a more waterfall way with other departments. Because in the end, it's also about showcasing the successes and the advantages for these internal customers. And I'm pretty sure that in time we will also be working in agile ways with our legal teams and our finance teams, because they're interested. They want to go there, but for them it's also about seeing the advantages and seeing how others do that. But as I said, we have agile teams, and we have implemented agile processes for that. And we also know that again, it's about people. So we do a lot of testing also in the different projects. And for some projects, we add additional Scrum Masters, and for other projects, the teams can manage that themselves. But it's all about accepting that it is a journey, and we all have to learn as part of this journey. And again, how to get started. So what I've seen so far, both in ROCKWOOL and also where I've been before, it is about the people. If you want to work with the agile methodologies, you need to understand what they encompass. You need to understand what are the ways, what are the pros, are there any cons, and be bold, because it is a change. So you need to accept that you need to take big steps, also small steps, but you need to take the big steps initially in order to get started. So what I've seen and what I've been doing for many years is making sure that the people that I'm responsible for, and that's normally the project managers or similar teams, make sure that they feel comfortable. And that's about giving them training, giving them allow them to attend conferences, give them certifications, give them the foundation to take responsibility. But actually, even more important, or just as important, is that you need to look at your customers as well. And in this case, it's always our internal customers, could be group functions, could be production facilities, and so on. They need to understand and know Agile as well, and they need to understand the differences. How is it that we work in Agile compared to how we used to work in Waterfall? What is expected from the different roles? How do we split responsibilities? How do we make sure that we progress? And what are the sprints? And why is it only 1 week or 2 weeks or 4 weeks or however you structure it? And how come we don't know the end result from the beginning? Why don't we have an exact plan of who does what when? How can we plan in that? So in order to get the business to take responsibility for their role as well, you need to focus on training them as well. It's not only about the IT organization, it is just as much about the business. And I guess that in companies that produce software, then you can take a framework and you can roll it out over time, and you can expect everyone to have a good understanding of how IT and Agile is running. But when it comes to the most of us that where IT is part of supporting the business, in some cases also driving, but basically our job is to make sure that the business can deliver as good as possible. Then we need to accept that they have a role as well. They need to be trained. They may need certifications. They need to be allowed to test. They need to be allowed to say no as well, and then you take it again. So it is about knowing your business, and I know there are a lot of ways to introduce Agile to the business as well, also to your own people in IT. But my suggestion is let it be a mix of learning and guidance from experienced trainers, scrum masters. You can use consultants, you can use specialists. There are a lot of on this conference, I guess, that could help and support you in this journey. But make sure that you do it together with the business. And I know we are in a time where we should not distinguish between IT and business, but reality is the different departments, and we do distinguish between them. But make sure that you go hand in hand. Start small. What does that mean? Yeah, you probably know it. Don't throw everything overboard and go all in from the beginning. You need to accept that working agile in an IT organization together with business is a matter of learning. It's a matter of taking small steps, and also it's a matter of accepting that you will fail and you will learn. I just heard part of the interview before me, and there's so many ways to measure. There's so many ways to use metrics. There's so many ways besides that also to structure how you do scrums, how you do your sprints, and so on. There's so many ways. So you need to, as part of this journey, accept that you will fail, but don't take it as a negative failure. Take it as now we tested that won't work. Let's shift the focus, do it a bit differently the next time, and then try again. Like everything else, it's from the failures we learn. So make that handshake in the beginning with your business customers. Make sure that they understand that you're in this together. But start small. Then the last point I've written here is show, don't tell. And it's so easy to say, but the fact is that it's quite true. Introducing Agile and implementing it throughout the IT organization, but also the business organization and the cooperation you have throughout projects and development and DevOps. It is so important to show the value. It is so important that you can show also to the doubters, the legals and the finance people, that there is a lot of value and there's a lot of speed, and the velocity that you can actually deliver changes to systems is often one of the big surprises to many of the internal customers that I've dealt with. Many departments feel that they let go of the control, which they do, when they move into Agile, because they don't have the exact plan. They can't come in 3 weeks and demand that you report on how is progression going. Did you deliver according to what we agreed 2 months ago? Letting go of that control means that they need to trust you. And back to one of the big challenges I started with, it's about trust. So in this case, again, it's show, don't tell. Show them the results, show them the benefits, and take the discussions with them about what are their doubts and what are their fears. Yeah, that was a lot of talking to me. I hope that you got some value out of it. There are so many specialists at this conference, and the thing is that you may not have learned anything new at all. That's okay. You may have gotten some pointers to where you could actually work with your own organization. I hope you did that. Could be that a lot of what I've said that you totally disagree to that, and that's okay as well. I think working agile is such a big world, and there are so many ways to do it. So we may have differences of opinions here. But the overall theme for me is about that. Probably for most corporations, big organizations, going full on in agile is probably not the right way, at least not from the beginning. Start small, accept that it's a hybrid world where we need to be able to do this and that, and accept that your customers are different and they have different needs. And based on that, I want to thank you. I hope that you have a great day for the rest of your day with a lot of inspiration. I hope you have a great party tonight. I'm in Copenhagen, so I will not be joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll happily see if I can answer, and I'll happily set off time to have a talk with you if you need that. But I think that was it for me then.